Gina walked home alone after her evening training. The small-town streets were quiet. At 19, she was the youngest person ever to win the National Martial Arts Championship 3 years in a row. Her muscles ached from the hard practice, but she felt good. The night air was cool on her skin. Stars filled the sky above the mountains. Gina stopped to look up at them, wondering what was out there. She never expected to find out so soon. A bright light appeared above her. It was too bright to be a star or plane. Gina shielded her eyes as the light grew stronger. Then she felt strange, like her body was getting lighter. Her feet lifted off the ground. "Help!" she screamed, but no one was around to hear. The light pulled her up faster and faster until everything went black. When Gina opened her eyes, she was lying on a cold metal floor. The room hummed with strange sounds. The walls shone with a blue light that came from nowhere. She sat up quickly, heart racing. "Where am I?" she asked the empty room. A door slid open with a hiss. A tall man stepped in. He looked Korean, like her, but wore strange clothes. They were silver and seemed to glow slightly. He looked at a small device in his hand, then at Gina. "This is wrong," he said in perfect Korean. "You are not the one we meant to take." Gina scrambled to her feet, taking a fighting stance. "Who are you? Take me back home right now." The man held up his hands. "My name is Da. I am human, like you, though my family was taken from Earth many generations ago. I work as a translator for the Galactic Federation." Gina stared at him. "Galactic? What? Is this some kind of joke?" "I wish it were," Da sighed. "The Federation was supposed to take your country's top male fighter for the Tournament of Champions. They made a mistake." "Tournament?" Gina's voice shook. "What are you talking about?" Day walked to the wall and touched it. The wall became clear like a window. Gina gasped. Outside was the blackness of space, filled with stars. Below them was a blue-white planet that was definitely not Earth. Every 100 years, all intelligent species send their best fighters to compete, Dad explained. The winners gain honor and resources for their worlds. Earth has been competing for centuries without knowing it. "This can't be real," Gina whispered. A new door opened. 2 beings walked in that made Gina's knees weak. They were tall with blue skin and 4 arms each. Their eyes were large and black. They spoke in clicks and whistles. "They say it's too late to take you back and get the right person," Dad translated. "The tournament begins tomorrow, and Earth must have a fighter. But I'm not prepared for this," Gina protested. "I don't know anything about fighting aliens." The blue beings made more sounds. Dad nodded and turned to Gina. "They say that's not their problem. You are Earth's champion now." After the aliens left, Gina sank to the floor. "This can't be happening." Day sat beside her. "I know it's a shock. I'll help you as much as I can." "Why would they want humans in their tournament? Are we even good enough?" Day smiled slightly. "Most species think humans are weak, but they don't understand us. We have something special that most aliens don't." "What's that?" Gina asked. "We never give up," Daz said, "even when we should. That makes us dangerous." Gina looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there was Earth, and she was its only champion. "The reigning champion is a warrior called Krell," Dai added. "He's won 3 times already. No one expects him to lose, especially not to a human." Gina felt a strange calm come over her. All her life, people had underestimated her. This was no different. "Then they're in for a surprise," she said, standing up straight. "When does my training start?" Day smiled. "Right now." Gina stood in the large training hall, mouth open in shock. Creatures of all shapes and sizes practiced combat moves she had never seen before. Some had 4 arms, others had tails or wings. One fighter seemed made of living stone. "These are my opponents," she asked Da, who stood beside her. "Just some of them," Daz said. "There are fighters from over 500 worlds here." A tall insect-like being walked past them. It turned its many eyes toward Gina and made a sound like laughter. What did it say? Gina asked. Da hesitated. It said humans are too weak to last one round. Gina felt her face grow hot. She had faced doubters all her life, but this was different. These aliens weren't just stronger, they were built differently. Come, said Da. I'll show you where humans stand in the galaxy. He led her to a room with a glowing map of stars. With a wave of his hand, the map zoomed in on Earth. Most species in the Federation have been traveling in space for thousands of years, Date explained. They see Earth as very primitive. Are we? Gina asked. In technology, yes, but not in other ways. Dad touched the map again. Images of alien fighters appeared. Look at the champion, Krell. The image showed a massive being with thick, gray skin like armor. Its arms were as big as Gina's whole body. Krell's people come from a heavy gravity world. They are 5 times stronger than humans, Da said, and they have replaced parts of their bodies with machines to make them even stronger. Gina felt her heart sink. How can I possibly fight something like that? You probably can't, came a new voice. Gina turned to see a short, muscular human man standing in the doorway. He looked to be in his 50s, with gray in his black hair. Hoon. Da seemed surprised. I didn't know you were here this year. I'm just watching, the man said, walking closer to study Gina. So this is Earth's new champion. A girl. The Federation really messed up this time. Gina straightened her back. I may be a girl, but I'm the national champion 3 years running. Hoon laughed. National champion of what? A tiny blue planet that doesn't even know the rest of the galaxy exists. But his eyes were kind despite his words. Hoon was a champion from one of the human colony worlds, Da explained to Gina. He made it to the final rounds 20 years ago. And I have the scars to prove it, Hoon said. He looked at Gina more seriously. What's your fighting style? Taekwondo, mostly. Some mixed martial arts. Hoon nodded. At least you're not a boxer. Punching most aliens is like punching a wall. Then how do I win? Gina asked. Hoon and Da shared a look. Humans have one advantage, Da said. We can adapt quickly. Other species train in one way their whole lives. They can't change. Show me, Hoon said suddenly, taking a fighting stance. Without warning, he threw a punch at Gina. She blocked it automatically, then countered with a kick that Hoon barely dodged. Good reflexes, he said with a small smile. Maybe there's hope. The first matches start tomorrow, Da said. Gina faces a fighter from Regulus Prime. The 6-armed one. Hoon looked worried. That's a tough first draw. I'll need to train all night, Gina said. Hoon nodded. And you'll still probably lose, but maybe you'll surprise us. I've been surprising people my whole life, Gina said. What's one more time? That night, Da and Hoon taught Gina everything they could about alien fighting styles. They showed her videos of past tournaments. They explained the rules. As the training room lights dimmed to signal night cycle, Gina kept practicing. She had never wanted to win so badly. Not just for herself now, but for all of Earth. Rest, Da advised. Tomorrow comes soon. But Gina shook her head. 1 more hour. I need to be ready. Hoon watched her from the corner, a new respect in his eyes. Word of Gina's victory spread quickly. As she walked through the fighters' area the next day, many alien eyes watched her. Some looked curious, others angry. They didn't think you would win, Dad explained as they walked to the training room. Now they're trying to figure out how you did it. In the training room, Gina noticed a new fighter. This one had a human-like shape but was taller and thinner. Most strange were the wings. Large, feathered wings folded against its back. Its skin was a pale blue color. The winged being was practicing graceful movements that reminded Gina of dance more than fighting. Each move flowed into the next. That's Sue, Hoon said, following Gina's gaze. She's from the avian worlds. They're known for their speed and honor. As if hearing her name, Sue looked up. She walked over to Gina with light steps, almost floating. "Earth fighter," she said in perfect Korean, her voice musical. "Your victory was impressive." "Thank you," Gina said, surprised. "You speak my language." "Avians learn languages quickly," Sue explained. "It helps us trade with many worlds." She studied Gina with large, bright eyes. "You fight with heart. Most new species fight with fear." "I was afraid," Gina admitted. "Fear is natural, but you didn't let it control you." Sue nodded with respect. "We should train together." Day looked surprised at this offer. "That would be an honor," he said quickly before Gina could respond. As they trained, Gina learned that Sue was a 5-time competitor. Her people valued the beauty of fighting more than winning. "Fighting should be like dance," Sue told Gina as they practiced. "Each movement has meaning." Gina showed Sue some taekwondo forms, and Sue showed Gina how to use an opponent's weight against them. They worked well together. Later that day, they watched the matches together. When the champion Krull fought, Gina felt her stomach tighten with worry. He was even more frightening in person, huge and powerful, with metal parts built into his gray skin. His opponent was a large reptile fighter. The match lasted less than a minute. Krull broke the reptile's arm and threw him from the ring. "That is not honorable fighting," Sue said quietly. "His people are the military power in the Federation," Dad explained to Gina. "They give protection to many worlds." "In return for what?" Gina asked. "Resources, control, power." Day's voice was bitter. "The tournament isn't just sport. The winners get trade deals, technology, and political power for their worlds." Gina watched as Krull raised his fists to the cheering crowd. What would happen if Earth won? Hoon laughed without humor. Earth would suddenly get offers of advanced technology, space travel rights, and protection status. Your world would change overnight. "Is that good?" Gina asked. "It depends," Dad said. "Some say Earth isn't ready. That's why winners from Earth never go home." This news hit Gina hard. "You mean if I win, I can't go back?" Before Dai could answer, a commotion broke out. Sue's match was beginning. They hurried to watch. Sue's opponent was Krull's teammate, a fighter almost as large as Krull himself. The match began, and Sue moved with beautiful speed, avoiding the larger fighter's attacks. But suddenly, when Sue was in midair, the large fighter hit her with a metal object hidden in his hand. It was against the rules. Sue fell hard, her wing bent at a wrong angle. The referee didn't call a foul. The crowd cheered as the large fighter stood over Sue. "That's cheating," Gina shouted, jumping up. "Sit down," Hoon pulled her back. "There's nothing you can do." As medical robots carried Sue away, her eyes met Gina's. In that moment, Gina made a silent promise to her new friend. She would make them pay. Gina sat beside Sue's bed in the medical area. The avian fighter's wing was wrapped in a glowing bandage. Her blue skin looked pale. "You should be preparing for your match tomorrow," Sue said weakly. "Friends come first," Gina replied. She had won her second match earlier that day. Now she was in the quarterfinals, something no human had achieved in decades. The door slid open and Dai entered with Hoon. "How is she?" Dai asked. "I will heal," Sue said, "but not in time for this tournament." Hoon looked around to make sure they were alone. "What happened wasn't an accident," he said in a low voice. "Krull's people want to eliminate any real competition." "I've been looking into past tournaments," Dai added. "Many strong fighters had accidents before facing Krull." "But why would the Federation allow cheating?" Gina asked. "Because Krull's people provide military protection for the most powerful worlds," Sue explained. "If they win, those worlds stay happy." "And if they lose?" Gina asked. "Then the balance of power shifts," said a new voice. They all turned to see a man standing in the doorway. He was tall with dark hair and eyes. Gina recognized him as a fighter who had lost in the first round. "Jin," Hoon said with surprise. "I thought you left." "I stayed to watch," Jin said, walking into the room. "Especially after I saw the Earth fighter win." Jin looked at Gina with interest. "You fight well for someone who didn't even know about the tournament a week ago." "How do you know that?" Gina asked, suspicious. Jin smiled. "I know many things, like how Krell's team has ordered special information about human weaknesses, and how they've paid 3 officials to look the other way if things get rough in your match." "Why are you telling us this?" Dai asked. "Because I'm part of something bigger," Jin said. "A group of fighters from worlds that are tired of being controlled. We work together to change things." "A resistance?" Hoon asked. Jin nodded. "Exactly. And now we think you might be our best chance, Gina." "Me? But I'm just trying to survive each match." "That's why you're perfect," Jin explained. "No one expected you to get this far. Krell's people weren't prepared for you." Jin pulled out a small device and placed it on the table. A map of stars appeared in the air above it. "The red stars are worlds controlled by Krell's people," he explained. "The blue ones are our allies. If you beat Krell, many worlds would join us." "I'm just a fighter from Earth," Gina said. "I didn't ask to be part of some space rebellion." "None of us asked for this," Sue said from her bed. "But sometimes we must fight for more than just ourselves." Gina looked at her injured friend and felt anger rise inside her. "What do you want me to do?" she asked Jin. "Keep winning," he said simply. "And be careful. They'll try to stop you before you face Krell." "She needs more protection," Daz said. "If they're targeting her." "I can help with that," Jin said. "I have friends in security. And I can teach you some tricks," Hoon added. "Things that helped me survive when I competed." Gina thought about Earth, so far away. They didn't even know one of their own was fighting for them. But now she was fighting for more than just Earth or herself. She was fighting for Sue and for all the worlds that wanted freedom. "I have my next match tomorrow," she said. "Let's start now." As they left the medical area, Gina saw Krell watching from across the hall. His cold eyes followed her. She met his gaze without looking away. The real battle was just beginning. Gina sat beside Sue's bed in the medical area. The avian fighter's wing was wrapped in a glowing bandage. Her blue skin looked pale. "You should be preparing for your match tomorrow," Sue said weakly. "Friends come first," Gina replied. She had won her second match earlier that day. Now she was in the quarterfinals, something no human had achieved in decades. The door slid open, and Day entered with Hoon. "How is she?" Day asked. "I will heal," Sue said, "but not in time for this tournament." Hoon looked around to make sure they were alone. "What happened wasn't an accident," he said in a low voice. "Krell's people want to eliminate any real competition." "I've been looking into past tournaments," Dai added. "Many strong fighters had accidents before facing Krell. But why would the Federation allow cheating?" Gina asked. "Because Krell's people provide military protection for the most powerful worlds," Sue explained. "If they win, those worlds stay happy." "And if they lose?" Gina asked. "Then the balance of power shifts," said a new voice. They all turned to see a man standing in the doorway. He was tall with dark hair and eyes. Gina recognized him as a fighter who had lost in the first round. "Jin," Hoon said with surprise. "I thought you left." "I stayed to watch," Jin said, walking into the room. "Especially after I saw the Earth fighter win." Jin looked at Gina with interest. "You fight well for someone who didn't even know about the tournament a week ago." "How do you know that?" Gina asked, suspicious. Jin smiled. "I know many things, like how Krell's team has ordered special information about human weaknesses, and how they've paid 3 officials to look the other way if things get rough in your match." "Why are you telling us this?" Dai asked. "Because I'm part of something bigger," Jin said. A group of fighters from worlds that are tired of being controlled. We work together to change things. A resistance? Hoon asked. Jin nodded. Exactly. And now we think you might be our best chance, Gina. Me? But I'm just trying to survive each match. That's why you're perfect, Jin explained. No one expected you to get this far. Krell's people weren't prepared for you. Jin pulled out a small device and placed it on the table. A map of stars appeared in the air above it. The red stars are worlds controlled by Krell's people, he explained. The blue ones are our allies. If you beat Krell, many worlds would join us. I'm just a fighter from Earth, Gina said. I didn't ask to be part of some space rebellion. None of us asked for this, Sue said from her bed. But sometimes we must fight for more than just ourselves. Gina looked at her injured friend and felt anger rise inside her. What do you want me to do? She asked Jin. Keep winning, he said simply. And be careful. They'll try to stop you before you face Krell. She needs more protection, Daz said. If they're targeting her. I can help with that, Jin said. I have friends in security. And I can teach you some tricks, Hoon added. Things that helped me survive when I competed. Gina thought about Earth, so far away. They didn't even know one of their own was fighting for them. But now she was fighting for more than just Earth or herself. She was fighting for Sue and for all the worlds that wanted freedom. I have my next match tomorrow, she said. Let's start now. As they left the medical area, Gina saw Krell watching from across the hall. His cold eyes followed her. She met his gaze without looking away. The real battle was just beginning. Gina couldn't sleep. Tomorrow she would fight in the semifinals. Only 3 fighters remained besides her. Krell, his teammate, and a fighter from the Ice Moons. She had made it further than anyone expected. A soft knock came at her door. Gina jumped up, ready to fight. It's me, Dae's voice called. She opened the door. Dae, Hoon, and Jin stood there looking worried. We need to move you, Jin said. My sources say Krell's people plan to make sure you don't reach the semifinals. They hurried through dark hallways to a new room in a different part of the station. Jin gave Gina a small device to put under her pillow. This will warn us if anyone comes near while you sleep, he explained. Despite the protection, Gina slept poorly. When morning came, she felt tired but ready. Remember, stay focused, Hoon told her as they walked to the training room. Your opponent today is from the Ice Moons. They move slow at first, but get faster as they warm up. Gina began her warm-up exercises. The room was quieter than usual. Most other fighters had been eliminated or had left. I'll get you some water, Daz said, walking to the refreshment area. That's when it happened. As Gina stretched her arms, a sharp pain hit her from behind. She turned to see a small robot floating away quickly. What was that? She asked, touching her right shoulder. It felt wet. A small needle had pierced her skin. Hoon ran over. What happened? Something stung me, Gina said. Her arm was starting to feel numb. Jin caught the small robot and crushed it in his hand. Poison, he said grimly. Not deadly, but it will weaken your arm. Dae returned and saw Gina's pale face. What's wrong? They got to her anyway, Hoon said. The match was in 3 hours. The medical team examined Gina, but they were controlled by the Federation. They declared her fit to compete despite her injured arm. They know, Jin said as they returned to the preparation room. They're making sure you fight with a disadvantage. Gina tried to move her arm. It responded, but slowly and with pain. It was her strongest arm, the one she used for her best attacks. I can't win like this, she said. Maybe that's good, Dae suggested. If you lose today, you can go home safely. No one will blame you. Gina thought about it. She could lose, avoid facing Krell, and maybe find a way back to Earth. It would be easier. Then she remembered Sue's injured wing. The unfairness of it all burned inside her. No, she said firmly. I'm going to fight. Hoon nodded with respect. Then we need a new plan. You can't fight with your usual style. For the next 2 hours, Hoon taught Gina to fight defensively, to use her opponent's strength against them, to save her energy. Humans have one advantage over most species, he told her. We can endure pain longer. We keep going when others give up. When the time came, Gina walked into the arena with her head high, her arm hung at her side, still partly numb. The crowd murmured when they saw her condition. Her opponent was tall with pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer with ice crystals. It moved slowly at first, as Hoon had warned. The match began. Gina stayed back, avoiding contact. The ice fighter advanced slowly, throwing punches that would have ended the match if they landed. Gina dodged and moved, saving her strength. The crowd grew restless, wanting action. The ice fighter moved faster as it warmed up, just as Hoon had predicted. 20 minutes passed. Gina was tiring, but still unhurt. Her opponent was now moving at full speed, but also tiring. It hadn't expected such a long fight. Now, Hoon shouted from the side. While it's tired. Gina gathered her strength and moved forward for the first time. Using her good arm and both legs, she launched a series of quick attacks. The ice fighter, surprised by the sudden change, fell back. With one final kick, using all her remaining strength, Gina sent her opponent to the ground. The crowd went silent, then erupted in cheers and shouts. Gina had made it to the finals. She would face Krell. Gina sat in the medical room while robots worked on her injured arm. The poison was gone, but her muscles still felt weak. The final match against Krell was tomorrow. Day entered with food. You should eat. You need strength. Why would they let me win? Gina asked. If Krell's victory is so important, why not just disqualify me? Because the tournament must appear fair, Jin said, walking in with Hoon. Too many worlds are watching. Hoon sat beside Gina. His face was serious. There's something you need to know before tomorrow. Something about humans and why we're really in this tournament. Day nodded. It's time she knew. Gina looked at them. What is it? Long ago, before the Federation put Earth under quarantine, humans were known throughout the galaxy. Dai began, not for our technology, which was simple, but for our fighting spirit. When humans first reached space, we were far behind other species in technology, Hoon continued. But in combat, humans were feared. Feared. Why? Gina couldn't believe it. Humans seemed so weak compared to the other fighters she had seen. Because humans never stop, Jin explained. Other species evolved with natural limits to protect themselves. When the fight is hopeless, they surrender. It's logical. But humans, Dad looked at Gina. Humans keep fighting even when they should lose. They ignore pain. They ignore logic. They refuse to accept defeat. Hoon rolled up his sleeve to show a long scar. In my final match, my opponent broke my arm. By all logic, I should have surrendered, but I fought until I passed out from pain. My opponent was so disturbed by this that he left the sport, Hoon added. He couldn't understand why I would hurt myself further when defeat was certain. Gina thought about this. So we're in the tournament because we're stubborn. They all laughed, but their eyes were serious. The tournament was created for 2 reasons, Jin said. First, as entertainment, but also to identify dangerous species. The winners get special treatment to keep them happy and prevent rebellions. Day nodded. Earth has been kept isolated because the Federation fears what would happen if humans joined the galactic community with our determination. Krell's people know this, Hoon said. That's why they're so worried about you. A human champion would change everything. Gina looked down at her hands. But I'm just one girl. How can I beat Krell? He's twice my size and has mechanical parts. That's exactly why you might win, Jin said. No one expects it. Krell has studied how to beat every fighting style in the galaxy, except yours. And there's one more thing about humans that makes us dangerous, Dai added. We're unpredictable. We don't always follow patterns. We improvise. Gina remembered her Taekwondo master's words from Earth. The best technique is the one your opponent doesn't expect. Get some rest, Hoon said, standing. Tomorrow will be the hardest fight of your life. After they left, Gina went to the viewing area. From there, she could see Earth hanging in space like a blue marble. So small, but so important. I'll make you proud, she whispered to her distant home. Later that night, Sue came to see her. The avian fighter's wing was still bandaged, but she looked stronger. I wanted to wish you luck, Sue said. And to tell you something about Kral. What is it? Gina asked. His people rely on programming for their fighting. They study their opponents and program responses. But this makes them follow patterns. Patterns can be broken, Gina said, understanding. Exactly. Sue smiled. When a pattern breaks, there is a moment of confusion. That moment is your chance. Gina nodded. Thank you, Sue. That night, Gina dreamed of Earth, of her small town and training hall, of stars that had once seemed so distant. Tomorrow, she would fight for all of them. The day of the final match arrived. The arena was packed with beings from 1,000 worlds. Screens throughout the galaxy showed the event. No one wanted to miss seeing Krell win his 4th championship. Gina stood in the preparation room. Her arm felt better, but still not at full strength. Dai helped her with the light armor all finalists wore. Remember, he said, you don't have to win. Just fighting Krall in the finals is more than any human has done in a century. Gina nodded, but in her heart, she wanted more than just to participate. She thought of Sue's injured wing, of the unfair system, of Earth sitting unaware among the stars. Hoon entered, his face serious. It's time. As Gina walked toward the arena, she saw Krall ahead. He was massive gray skin covered with metal parts. His team surrounded him like guards. Krall turned and saw her. His black eyes showed no emotion. He said something in his language. What did he say? Gina asked Da. He said he will try to make it quick, Day translated. He thinks it's mercy. The arena doors opened. Lights flashed, and strange music played. The crowd roared as Krall entered. When Gina walked in, the sound changed. Some cheered. Others made angry noises. Not everyone wanted to see a human in the finals. The referee, a floating robot, moved between them. It spoke the rules in many languages. Then it moved away. The final match began. Krall moved faster than Gina had expected for someone so large. He charged straight at her. Gina dodged, barely avoiding his grasp. The crowd gasped. For the next 10 minutes, Gina could only avoid Krall's attacks. He was too strong to block, too quick to counter. All she could do was keep moving, keep him from catching her. She's tiring him, Hoon said to Da from the sidelines. Making him work. But Gina was tiring too. Her injured arm slowed her down. Krall landed a blow to her side that sent her rolling across the floor. The crowd cheered, thinking the end was near. Gina got up slowly. Her ribs hurt with each breath. Krall waited, watching her with cold eyes. He's studying her recovery pattern. Gina observed from his seat, programming his next attack. Gina remembered Sue's words about patterns. Krall expected her to be defensive now, to protect her injured side. Instead, she charged directly at him. Surprised, Krall stepped back. For just a moment, his programming failed to give him a response. In that brief window, Gina landed 3 quick strikes to vulnerable points on his body, places where flesh met machine. Krall recovered quickly. His arm caught Gina and threw her across the arena. She hit the wall hard and fell to the ground. The crowd went silent. Surely this was the end. 1 second passed. 2. 3. Gina pushed herself up. Blood ran from a cut on her face. Her body screamed with pain. But she stood. The crowd made sounds of disbelief. Kral himself seemed confused. By all logic, she should stay down. But humans don't always follow logic. Gina moved forward again, limping but determined. Kral prepared to finish the match. He had seen her weaknesses now. His next attack would end it. As he charged, Gina noticed something. Each time Kral attacked, he followed the same pattern. Right arm first, then left, then a finishing move. His programming was efficient but predictable. This was her only chance. As Kral swung his right arm, Gina moved into the attack instead of away. She took the hit to her shoulder, pain exploding through her body. But now she was inside his reach, in the one place his programming hadn't prepared for. With every bit of strength left in her body, Gina struck the connection point between Kral's head and body, the one weak spot Sue had told her about. Kral froze. His systems tried to recalibrate. In that moment, Gina swept his legs from under him. The champion of the galaxy crashed to the floor. The arena went completely silent. For 3 long seconds, no one in the arena moved or spoke. Then the referee robot floated over to Kral, who still lay motionless on the ground. After scanning him, the robot turned to Gina. It raised her arm in the air. Winner, Earth Champion. The arena exploded with sound. Some cheered wildly. Others shouted in anger. A few sat in stunned silence. No one had expected this outcome. Gina could hardly stand. Her body hurt everywhere. Medical robots rushed to her side, helping her walk from the arena as more robots attended to Kral. In the medical room, Da, Hoon, Jin, and Sue surrounded her bed. Their faces showed disbelief and joy. "You did it," Da said, his voice full of wonder. "You actually did it." "No human has ever won the championship," Hoon added. "Not in the entire history of the tournament." Gina smiled through her pain. "What happens now?" Jin looked serious. "Now everything changes. The Federation Council is in emergency meetings. Earth will be offered technology, protection, and a seat on the council." "And Kral's people?" Gina asked. "They have lost power already," Sue said. "Many worlds that feared them are now looking to align with Earth instead." As the medical robots healed her injuries, officials from the Federation came to see Gina. They wore formal clothes and seemed nervous. "Earth Champion," the lead official said in Korean. "The Federation Council wishes to speak with you." Later, in a grand room with a large round table, Gina faced the council. Representatives from many worlds looked at her with curiosity and respect. "Human Champion," the head counselor said, "your victory changes many things. Earth must now be given its rightful place in galactic society." "But Earth doesn't even know about any of this," Gina pointed out. "That can change," another counselor said. "We can send representatives. Begin the process of introducing Earth to the galactic community." Gina thought about this, her small town in Korea. The shock people would feel learning they weren't alone in the universe. Wars that might start. Fear that would spread. "Earth isn't ready," she said finally. "Not yet." The council members looked surprised. "But as champion, you have the right to claim these benefits for your world." "I know," Gina said, "but I also have the right to decide what's best for Earth." The council debated for hours. In the end, they offered Gina 3 choices: stay as Earth's representative in the Federation, return home with no memory of what happened, or return home with her memories, but keep Earth's isolation for now. That night, Gina talked with her friends about her decision. "If you choose to forget, all of this would be like a dream," Daz said. "But if you remember, you would carry a heavy secret," Hoon added. Gina looked out at the stars, at Earth shining blue in the distance. "I want to remember," she said, "and I want to help prepare Earth for what's coming. Not through sudden contact, but slowly." The next day, Gina made her choice to the council. She would return to Earth with her memories intact. She would work secretly with Federation representatives to prepare humanity for eventual first contact. A small outpost would be built near Earth. Dai and Hoon would stay there as liaisons. Sue promised to visit when she could. As Gina's ship approached Earth, she looked back at the stars. Out there, the galaxy now knew about humans in a new way. Not just as primitive beings from a quarantined world, but as equals to be respected. The ship landed quietly in the mountains near her hometown. As the door opened, Gina smelled Earth's air for the first time in weeks. "Welcome home, champion," Dai said. Gina stepped onto the ground of her planet. She was no longer just a girl from a small town. She was Earth's champion, carrier of its future, keeper of its greatest secret. And somewhere in the stars, other worlds were preparing for the day when humanity would join them.